Good afternoon. Welcome to Allen's Day. I am down in near Jamestown, Tennessee at our holiday home. It is Memorial Day weekend. I've been down here for a week working on the house, and I'm taking a break from the house to work on the 99 Jeep Cherokee. The last time we were down here, Gene took it up to the neighbors and it was a no start, and that's no good because we don't want to leave Gene stranded. And also, this is our grocery getter to running into town, going to Walmart, and we got to have it starting. So I think it's the fuel pump, so let me get it over by the garage and start tearing into this thing. Well, the first thing I'm checking is fuel pressure. Put the fuel pressure gauge on here, and it's reading 50 pounds. I thought for sure that was my my issue was the fuel pump. Well, let me figure out what I'm going to do from here. Well, I'm definitely not a Jeep expert, but on the side of the gauge here, there's a purge valve, and when I push and hold the purge valve, it drops down to 20 pounds. I gotta do some Googling to find out if that's enough for this Jeep or not. I think I'm making progress figuring this fuel system out. Did a little YouTube Googling to do another check. And what you need to do is pull out the fuel pump relay that's located in this corner. And then I am going to jump the wires here. And I can hear the fuel pump running. And then my gauge is up to around 49 pounds where it's supposed to be. But as soon as I pull the wire off of here, that gauge drops right down. And it's supposed to hold pressure for a couple of minutes to make sure that the check valve in the fuel system is working properly. So from what I see, it doesn't look like it's working properly. So I'm going to change the fuel pump out on there just because. Let's start in on that project and I'll show you what we got going. Well, I'm going to start putting that fuel pump in. Brand new OEM or high-end fuel pump on there. Don't get the cheap one. The labor's more expensive than the parts. So hopefully the fuel pump's going to be a good one. Now the fuel pump, according to the internet, is supposed to pull the tank out the bottom side, take the straps off, all the rest of that. That seems like a lot of work. My next option is, well, the fuel pump is right underneath the floor here. And I'm going to do what Jeep should have did, is put an access panel in the bottom here. So let me get everything pulled out, rip the carpeting out of there, get the saw out, and let's get a hole cut in this Jeep here. Did some more internet browsing to figure out where to cut the hole in here. And I'm not the first one with that idea. I found a couple of people that did it. Here's the fuel pump that I'm putting in there. It's about 200 bucks. So hopefully that's going to do it. But they've got a hole cut in here, and it looks like it comes right off the center of this lock right here. I go straight up, and the second one is right by that screw, which is right here. Go straight up to here, and the height wise is right about by here. So let me get a square drawn on here. I'm just going to cut the carpeting. That looks like a whole lot of work to pull that carpeting out of there. I keep a piece of cardboard over the top of it anyways. You'll never see it. So let me get that marked out. So far it's going pretty good. I better use two hands on this deal. But I've got my 5 3/8 Diablo blade on my Milwaukee M18 saw. I got it set really low, and I did stick my hand underneath there to make sure there wasn't any wires or hoses up against the bottom there. So let me get this cut out and I'll bring you back when I got her cut and cleaned up. I've got the hole cut, and there it is. I sure wish Jeep would have thought of that. I don't know. Let me get in there with the vacuum, clean all this stuff out of here, and then I got a handy dandy special little tool for pulling that ring off. And let's see if we can get this out of here. I don't even have to crawl underneath there because I can reach the plug right from here. All my lines. As long as we're doing how I do it video, not how to do it video. There's this little plug that has to come off there. This little red part has to slide to the right, and then you take and you push down right here, and that releases the plug, and that is plugged in right underneath there. So pretty straightforward unplugging it. Just be careful, don't put any extra pressure on that wire underneath there. Fuel line comes off here pretty easy. I just took my needle nose pliers and I just pinched down a little bit on these two little blue things right here with one hand, and I slid this back with the other one here. So yes, this is getting easier. Now let me get this ring broke loose and get this tank out of here, and I'll just have to slide this vent line off to the side, or it looks like I can unhook it right here. We'll see. We'll get back to you. I am making progress getting it out. I got my handy dandy tool on here. I had to bend this back just a little bit to get my tool clearance on here. And if I ever had to do this again, I would cut a little bit farther this way so I can get my wrench in there. Let me show you my drawing of if somebody's got to do this, not me. It's going to be a 9-inch by 10-inch hole, 10 inches from this back piece of trim right here to the hole. From the wheel well to the hole is 14 inches. That's right from edge of here to here. And for a reference number, 13 inches from the back of seat to the hole. And just to be on the safe side, when you cut that, it gets pretty close to the fuel tank on this side. Either get up underneath and wedge a piece of wood under there, or cut this part with a set of hand tin snips on there. You got the same scenario down here. There's a vent right here. Finish this off with the tin snips, or put a piece of wood in there. Another reference, here's the center of the back of the truck, or the Jeep. And the hole is 1 inch to the right of the center line on there. I sure wish somebody on the internet would have put something on there. Would have made life a whole lot easier if I would have had some numbers to go off of. And let me just show you where I'm talking about with that fuel tank. Here's where you need to put that little piece of wood, is right here, because that fuel tank is right up against the floor here. So just be careful there. And then here's your vent line. So to break this loose, I just took this, gave her a couple of hits with a hammer to break that loose, and when I broke that loose, more dirt fell out of there. So you're going to have to keep vacuuming and blowing the dirt out from around here so it doesn't get into your tank. Now that I got my handy dandy tool on there, I can just turn that ring off of there and see what we got for a fuel pump in there. This is a real easy, straightforward job if there's an access hole in there. And it's ready to come out. Didn't knock any dirt in there, moved everything off to the side. And here we go. Whoa, be careful, you got fuel. Let me get the other one out of the box, make sure it's the same. Take me a couple minutes to drop it back in there. Like I said, with that hole in there, this is probably about a 20-minute project, change it out. Compared to taking it to a shop, they'd probably have $500-600 in there, if you're lucky, if they don't have problems snapping bolts off and everything, taking that tank out of there, replacing straps. I wouldn't be doing this on a, I guess what you'd call a Survivor Prime rust-free Jeep. But this old rusty thing, a little extra hole in there isn't going to do any harm. I'm going to really have to make sure that that is sealed up really well. You don't want any fumes in there, you don't want any gas, you don't want any safety hazards. So do a good job sealing it up. And I think this is the way to go with these old Jeeps. Well, let me get this new one in there. I'm just matching up the fuel pumps to make sure they're the same. Don't forget to take the little plastic baggie off your float, or you could have problems. But other than that, it looks pretty straightforward. I just have to figure out how this this clip, this one's got a clip on this one. I can see how the other one works. Oh, the big difference. The one I just pulled out doesn't have a fuel filter. And one of the downfalls of this 99 Jeep Cherokee is the only fuel filter that they have in the system is on the bottom of the pumps. You got to pull the pump out if you got to change your fuel filter. But the one I just pulled out doesn't have a fuel filter. Let's do some investigating and figure out where that fuel filter is. Oh, there it is, right down there. So let me get my pliers and pull that out of there. I don't think that's supposed to be in there. So, I don't know if that was my problem or not, but it's definitely not going to help if it's sucking junk up into the fuel system. So let me get the new one in there. See if there's any other parts or pieces down in there. It looks like there's some metal shavings down in there. I will take my magnet, run it around down there and see what I can find. And then I'll put it in. Well, I took my magnet, ran around the bottom of the holes. I did get some, I already wiped it off once, but I highly recommend taking a magnet, going around the bottom of the tank just to see what you can find in there. But yeah, I found some stuff. The filter will take care of the rest of that. Well, now let me get this thing put back in. And it comes with a rubber gasket that just slides up onto here. So you lock that in there. Here's the old one right here. Don't need that. And you know how I like my dielectric grease. I'm just going to put a real light coat of dielectric grease around here. And then also I'm going to put some dielectric grease in the plug. And on the threads of this ring, I'm going to put a light coat of dielectric grease in there. Should slide together pretty good. Well, the fuel pump is in there and tightened it up. The hose is on there. I'm not sure. These were floating around in the box. Not sure what those are, but we'll see if it runs. Now the next step to finish off the wiring, I take this Bostik 940A marine adhesive sealant, and I am going to take and put some of that on the back side of these wires on the back of this plug right here. And what that's going to do, and you don't need much, just go around that. So I put that on there. I'll do that on the plug underneath. I'll do that down in there. Anytime that you see exposed wires at the end of a plug, if anything's bad's gonna happen with fatigue bouncing up and down, that's where it's gonna happen. So by putting that Bostik on there, those wires are not gonna be bouncing up and down right at that plug. And I do that quite a bit. First thing, when I got that brand new High Country Chevrolet over there, I went underneath the hood with zip ties and a tube of that Bostik, and you wouldn't believe all the wires. They were just sort of hanging there, dangling, and it's just a matter of time. There's only so many cycles in a wire before it's going to break, and you're into the thousands of dollars to find a broken wire in a harness someplace on anything like that. So cheap insurance. Like I said, I put it on everything. So let me get that plugged in, and we're gonna see if this thing's gonna start. She's a runner. Next project I gotta work on here is the key doesn't work. So I have to take a wire I got jumped on the relay, starter relay, and touch the two wires together to start, and then it starts. I changed out the neutral safety switch. I don't know. I can't figure out what's wrong. That's going to be the next thing. Unless there's somebody really smart with Jeeps knows why by turning the key it won't start. So we've got our 50 pounds of fuel pressure, which was what we were looking for. What the big thing is, let me shut it off. When I shut it off, it maintains its pressure. Before, when I shut it off, that pressure dropped right down to 10 pounds instantly. So I think we were on the right track, and I think we solved something here. For one, we got the fuel filter issue dealt with, and for two, we're holding pressure here. I think this is a win. Let me get the rest of this mess cleaned up. I'm always cleaning messes up. And get this sealed up here. And I think that's going to be the end of the video here. So maybe you'll see me going to town tomorrow with it. Talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.